Hello everyone, this is Dr. Simantini Sakardande, practicing dermatologist, and today I would like to talk about dandruff. Now, dandruff is a very common term, and I think almost everyone gets some amount of dandruff. What is dandruff? Dandruff is nothing but it's a flaking of the scalp. Everyone experiences some amount of the flaking during the winter months, but sometimes it becomes throughout the year, or sometimes when your scalp is really oily or greasy, it tends to get irritated, inflamed, or itchy, and then it becomes a problem. So, today I will be talking about what is dandruff, what are the causes of dandruff, what are the other conditions that you may get something which is similar to dandruff, and how you can treat dandruff. What is dandruff? Now, as I've explained, it is just the flaking of the scalp. So, these are the dead skin cells, and these dead skin cells are attached together. So, they have not lost their cohesion. So, you start shedding the hair cells in sheets. If you have an oily scalp, it tends to get worse. In addition to the oil, which is mainly the sebum, you also get the dead skin cells. So, the scalp tends to get greasier. Now, dandruff is seen in males more than the females. Okay, and it is also seen in those who do not wash their hair very frequently. So it's underwashing of hair that is mainly the cause of the problem. The dandruff is nothing but they are the thin white scales, but in some patients you tend to get larger scales which are thicker, more greasy, more yellowish white in color, and which are more red, and you tend to get itching and inflammation. Then it is something called as seborrheic dermatitis. So there is a school of thought that believes that dandruff is a non-inflammatory type of seborrheic dermatitis. Now, when you have seborrheic dermatitis, there are other areas that are involved. For example, the medial side of your eyebrows, eyelashes, around the nose, under the chin, behind the ears, or even inside the ears, in the chest and in the upper back. So these are the areas where you may also find redness, some amount of increased oil production, or even thick yellow greasy crust. So that is something which you see in seborrheic dermatitis. So why do you get dandruff? Well, the real cause of dandruff is not known. So some patients, because of genetic predisposition, they have increased tendency for oil production, that is the sebum production. So these are the same patients who can also have an increased chances of acne or seborrheic dermatitis. So they tend to have a oily or a greasy scalp. Second is the increased oil production because of the hormonal factors. For example, in teens or once you hit your puberty, they may suddenly start noticing the increase in the dandruff or increase in the greasiness. So hormonal factors do play a role by triggering increased oil production. Now, when there is increased oil production, there is also organism Malassezia furfur, which is the fungus which is believed to proliferate and make the inflammation worse. So there are studies that have proven that there is increase in the number of Malassezia furfur in those with dandruff. Then there are other factors, like if you're not washing your hair very frequently, like underwashing of hair. Okay, so then your scalp tend to get very oily and greasy, and the organism tend to multiply more in such patient. So if you have an oily scalp and if you don't clean it regularly, then these dead skin cells, they get collected in addition to the oil, and the dust or the dirt which gets accumulated makes this dandruff worse. So there are also certain hair products, hair care products like hair setting gels, certain lotions which tend to increase the flaking of the scalp. Now you have to differentiate dandruff from the other conditions which also increase the flaking of the scalp. For example, psoriasis of the scalp. Well, this is a condition where you see there is an increased cell turnover. Okay, so there is a constant flaking, but the scales which are seen in psoriasis are different from that of dandruff. So you will have to consult your doctor in order to get your scalp examined to rule out if you have scalp psoriasis. So also in case of psoriasis, there is a characteristic pattern that is seen, and other areas will be also involved. Now psoriasis is a more of a chronic condition and will require a different management. The second is the fungal infection of the scalp, which we also call as tinea capitis. Now this is commonly seen in the children. Okay, so here also the crust will be different from that of dandruff. So the third is the use of certain hair care products like minoxidil or even certain hair setting lotions or gels. The flaking that you see is the residue of the product. Okay, so this is different from the dandruff. So it is better to consult with your doctor in order to differentiate the dandruff from other conditions like psoriasis, fungal infections, or even seborrheic. What age group do you see dandruff? It usually becomes worse after puberty, that is in your early teens. Okay, because the oil production tend to increase during this time. So now, how do you manage dandruff? First, you have to regularly wash your hair. How many times should you be washing your hair? Now it again depends on whether your scalp is oily or not. That is, if you are exercising or if you are outdoors or in a hot humid environment, then you tend to wash your scalp more regularly. Okay, so you have to wash your hair at least every alternate day or daily. But if you are always indoors and if your scalp is less oily, then you can wash it maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Now, what kind of shampoo should you use? So ideally a mild shampoo for a everyday use, and the anti-dandruff medication, that is a shampoo or the lotion, should be applied only twice or thrice a week depending on the severity of the dandruff. So what are the different anti-dandruff medications that are given? The first and the very common is the ketoconazole. Now ketoconazole is a broad spectrum antimicrobial. So that is the one which controls this fungus. Coming next is the cyclopyroxalamine. Cyclopyroxalamine is an antimicrobial. Third is the selenium sulfide. Now selenium sulfide decreases the cell turnover, and as a result it also helps in reducing the dandruff. Fourth is the salicylic acid. Now salicylic acid is given if they are thick or crusts in the scales. So these are keratolytic, that is they break down the cell adhesions. And the last but not the least, sometimes the doctors would also give you coal tar based shampoos or lotions. So how do you have to apply the anti-dandruff medication or the shampoo? Now mind you that they do not lather much, that they will not generate too much of foam. So you have to first wet your scalp, apply the medication all evenly throughout your scalp. And so when you apply the anti-dandruff medication, do not rinse off the hair immediately. You have to wait for at least 10 to 15 minutes for the medication to work, and then you can rinse it off. After you rinse off the medication, you can use your normal mild shampoo if you need. Otherwise, you can skip and use your conditioner, especially if you have a long hair. Also, I have commonly seen that there are some people who like to wash their hair more frequently because they have dandruff, that is 2 or 3 times in a day. Overwashing of hair also tend to make the dandruff worse, because it tends to make your scalp very dry, so body tries to produce excessive oil because of biofeedback mechanism. Also avoid application of oil on your scalp if you have dandruff, because the oil will trickle down on your face and it will flare up your acne. Also please stop using any kind of hair setting products or gels or any kind of lotions which could be the possible cause of increasing the flaking of your scalp. Now the anti-dandruff medication sometimes is available as a steroid lotion, that is you have to apply the medication, apply it evenly on your scalp and leave it on, sometimes even overnight if needed, and then next morning you can rinse off your hair, or after few hours you can rinse off your hair. So I would like to stress one important point, that dandruff cannot be cured completely. It can be only controlled or treated. So you will have to use the anti-dandruff medication regularly. You can reduce the frequency of the medication or the shampoo as and when needed. For example, if your dandruff is under control, you may reduce the frequency to once a week or every other week, or at least once in 15 days if there is no dandruff or minimum dandruff. Now, in spite of all this, if you still experience very severe dandruff, then sometimes your doctor might consider prescribing you a steroid based lotion or a shampoo, or even a coal tar based lotion or a shampoo to treat the dandruff. Sometimes it is also necessary, if you have a very severe inflamed dandruff, to add a oral antifungal drug. So the treatment would be modified by your doctor if your dandruff doesn't get controlled with simple topical anti-dandruff lotion or a shampoo. Steroids and coal tar, both of them are anti-inflammatory and they decrease the cell inflammation and adhesion. So the treatment plan will be titrated as per your response. So that was all about the dandruff. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, then please share it with your friends. I'll be making more such videos on skin and hair related issues. If such content is of interest to you, then please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.